sun, and give thanks for today and for all creation. Wabanagi people.
The history of the Mi'kmaq dates back thousands of years. Many believe that the spirits of the ancestors still roam on the land.
When I originally did my traces of my ancestors, my exhibit that I did that honored the petroglyphs, and I called it Traces because my hand was following their path, was following those same lines that the ancestors used. And especially when I was in the territory, when I was experiencing hands-on the drawings on the stones, I felt that deep connection of this is my homeland and has been my homeland for longer than anybody can say. I do go through my own personal ritual. I offer tobacco to the four directions and smudge when I can with sweetgrass and sage. And I always ask the Creator for guidance to guide my hand and make sure that the pieces that I'm going to be presenting to the world are true and honest and pure. Art means a lot to me in a lot of different levels. And I've been a natural artist since I was a little girl. And so I guess fulfilling that dream of being an artist and sharing and giving back, I see art as my gift and also my prayer.
Tara is a friendly face on the streets of downtown Fredericton. I bump into her walking around sometimes and we have coffee together. Or we talk about our recent professional developments. I think what stands out in Tara's work is, again, her ability to blend her traditional background with contemporary technique. So I see her drawing on her spirituality a great deal with the imagery that she uses in her work. And she also is able to draw from traditional techniques, traditional art-making techniques, and bring more contemporary imagery into that as well, and adapt her designs to reflect, you know, both her native background and herself as a contemporary practicing artist.
I do a few different types of art. I do traditional porcupine quill work. I also am a fiber artist, which involves a lot of fabric embellishing. And I also do acrylic painting. So various types, all visual art. I was first introduced to the petroglyphs when I was taking native art study at the craft college, and I felt so gifted that there was such a surplus of these beautiful images from our ancestors. The ones that I studied at Kejimkujik Lake are ancient drawings that they can't even date back, and they're drawings on pieces of slate that slant into the lake. And they really, I believe, hold a lot of our secrets of our ancestors, and I think it's probably the Mi'kmaq as a people, when we're looking for answers as to who we were truly before the Europeans came, I think that holds a lot of those answers.
Tara has been asked to teach at the school where she received her training, her journey going full circle.
My role at the craft college now with the new Aboriginal Visual Arts program to be a part of that and to help the new students coming out learn the traditional ways is very important, and it's very rewarding at the same time to see where they're going to take it as well. And again, we were talking about being down at Keji and just the feeling that you get, that timeless feeling, and when you know that our ancestors were right there, like, 2,000 years ago, and you touch that same rock, that energy is there, and I feel it. You really feel it, and I think that has a lot to do with why it's that timeless zone. If there's ever a spiritual energy core in that area, it's in Keji for sure.
I know that Tara has experience in studying and incorporating petroglyphs or pictographs into her work. And so I asked her to come in and give a presentation to the class about it. This is a course that's being offered. It's iconography, Aboriginal iconography, excuse me, and that basically means a study of images. And we've incorporated it into this new program here at the college that is part of the diploma program. So this semester, semester 3 that Tara came into, gives her and gives the students the opportunity to have an expert that's been there, hands-on, that can study the images.
It's a little bit different from the original Native Art Study program that I was a part of. And it's Aboriginal Visual Arts. It focuses more intently on hands-on crafts, traditional crafts from the area, doing everything from basket work to porcupine quill work to wampum, to building wigwams and working with birch bark and the raw materials, the traditional materials that we had.
For many Native artists, cleansing one's soul is vital for a piece of artwork to reveal itself.
Okay, so this is what we're looking at here right now is 2 meters of silk satin, 100% silk satin. Now the way I do it is I just make a small cut at the edge of the satin. So they don't run. The next step that you have to do once the silk's been ripped up into scarves is add it to some simmering water with a soap that's used to dye fabrics that takes there's a film in the processing plants when you have silk, it's sort of a coating, and it'll take that coating off by letting it just sit in the simmering water for about 10 to 20 minutes. And just stir it in there to ensure that all the sizings come out of it, and then I will rinse it and it'll be ready to be dyed. I'm not going to put the fabric right in the sink. I'm going to keep it in the pot just to keep it safe. Take the excess out. I just keep them scrunched up because once I move on to the ironing, they still have to be damp. I usually start by folding them in half, and that way I create a mirror image. So whatever other folding I do will be balanced on both sides of the scarf. This is where the magic begins. Take this corner, this corner. I never really do the exact same folding twice, so each piece is an original. do the other side the same way. And maybe you can start to see the butterfly start to take form. That should be repeated throughout the pattern. And this usually creates like an arrowhead or a star pattern once you do this. So there we go. This is my folded piece. Some I do a little bit more intricate. Now the next thing I could do is maybe take these corners and fold them in this way, and that will give me another design. There's my first piece of this batch. And then I'll put it over with the other ones that are already done. That was an image I found from the collection of images from Kejimkujik. I mirrored it, so there's two dancers facing each other, but the original petroglyph, which was about that big, was just the one dancer. But again, I was working with my dyeing processes that made me want to mirror it and create the four directions in the center. And my sister had a very strong connection with that piece because she is a Sundance leader. And there's been a lot of conflict in the past of whether or not Sundance was something we did here on the East Coast or if it was traditionally just a West Coast ceremony. There wasn't a lot known about what our ancient ceremonies were. And when she saw that image, she felt very strongly connected because she knew it was a man wearing a man's crown surrounded in cedar, very similar to the crowns worn in Sundance now. They were wearing shawls, they were wearing dresses, and they had eagle whistles. And so for her, that just reconfirmed the fact that there was something similar here and a very strong connection to what she does now. And I called the piece Ceremonial Dancers. And again, it was her own personal connection that really gave her a sense of peace and a sense of connection with that. I'll start with the red. You'll see how it takes my green, and here's my turquoise. And where the colors were all made from the different colors, then they should really meld together nicely. Okay, now my scarves have sat for 10 minutes in the dye activator. Lay them out. Bunch them up some, and then the dye will kind of well in those areas. There we go. Take those off. That's all right. I'll start with the red. You'll see how it takes Now I'm going to do the purple. Where I want a lot of purple in it, I'm just going to pour it on in places. And you can layer right over the last color you dyed too, because as the dyes work, they separate themselves. And where turquoise is going to be a strong color, I'm going to put a lot of turquoise in areas. This is another technique I do called wrapped shibori. I actually have 5 scarves that I folded in the same technique. And now I've wrapped them around just a container, whatever you have, that might be cylinder. And the first one's going to be coming off here in a second. And they've sat for 5 days, so the dies should be set. And now, my favorite part of the process, the unveiling of the pattern. And there's my butterfly. There we go. See that? She repeats again. Just empty this out, and you continue to rinse until the water runs clear. And where this is a low impact dye, it's safe to butterfly.
For artists who do not work with traditional art forms, commercial success is more difficult to achieve.
Well, there's always the old adage of being the starving artist. And you really do have to love what you do. You have to find as many avenues as you can to receive grant work and things like that. So I guess my biggest obstacle is financial. I'd like to be able to support myself on my artwork, but at this point in time, I know I can't, so I have to find that balance. It's always about finding that balance and making sure I have the time to create the things I need to create.
I think that artists in particular are accustomed to having to be resourceful, having to use their creative minds to create more opportunities for art making and for living as an artist. It's tough to do that. And so I think that the experience of socioeconomic disadvantage probably creates a stronger basis for being an artist. It probably is exercising that part of your brain that inspires you to problem solve a little harder.
I think that her work represents kind of a blast from the past, if you will, where she incorporates imagery and her belief in her culture. She's a very proud Mi'kmaq person, and I believe that she incorporates that beautifully with her work. The colors that she uses, coming through the college and going through, incorporating all the different studio work, the textiles and the color, the basic things that this college had to offer her, I think that she has taken that and put that into her own and made it her own, and successfully has graduated and represents all of the great studios here at the college and kind of made that her own style.
Tara, as a visual artist, as an Aboriginal artist in New Brunswick, is a definite success story. She has worked diligently over the past 10 years to overcome a number of obstacles to be able to actually continue her practice as an artist.
Be true to yourself. Don't try to copy anybody else. Don't try to compare yourself to anybody else, because you'll never feel good enough. You have to stand firm in your own light be confident and stand behind your work no matter what.
Thank you.